But someone sent my sister something saying Rhonda is suing him now.
There is an update on the Zkira case. If you guys have no idea what's going on, here's a recap. During the summer break in July, Zkira Kemp left Houston to go to Maryland with her two best friends. Around 2 a.m. on the 8th of July, she was then in an accident where she died and her two friends survived. But the mother, Jolanda, has been told conflicting stories about her daughter's death.
From the police to the medical examiner.
And the events leading up to it. As well as that, it seems like there was a different body in the car that wasn't secured. And there is audio recording of a man who lived at the residence of where the car accident was. And he said that a man showed up to Simone and said this.
My son got killed and his son got burned up. The other son went in the hospital. He went critical condition, and the girl, I think she got hurt too, whatever like that. That's what I was told to me.
So if it's not Zkira's body in the car, who is it? And the description and the location that this man at the residence described matches to Addison Jr., who was the father of Aiden, who's friends with Mike, and they were all staying at this location on the trip. So there's definitely something going on here, and you guys can help by liking this video and give it a comment, because it pushes it out in the algorithm so more people can see this case and what's going on. So basically, there was a warrant for Michael's arrest, who was driving the car that Zkira was allegedly in. Now I was able to interview Jolanda's sister Lauren, who was in the Zoom call court hearing, and guess what? Wanda tried to sue him. We're also going to get into that as well. So they had one hearing, but the second hearing that recently happened, Jolanda and her sister did not have the opportunity to be a part of.
Because when we found out about it and we called the family advocate, she reached out to try to find out what happened, and she said that that judge did not allow Zoom in her part of the court. So we didn't find out about it until after it had already happened. So from my understanding, it was just a, evidential proceeding for both the prosecutor and his attorney to discuss what they have and to turn it over to each other if they have anything of any value or things of that nature. But as far as that proceeding, yeah, we were not even notified of that. It just so happened my sister found out after the fact that, it had taken place. So we have no idea, what was said, what was found, anything of that nature. So just like from the beginning, it's almost like we're still being kept in the dark about a lot of things that are happening. And so what can you do?
When the first court proceeding happened, did you guys get the final police report?
No, based on what we're being told, the final police report cannot be released until after the hearing and everything is final. Before we even went into the court proceeding, we had a meeting with the district attorney and several people, and they told us at that time that they didn't want the final report out there because I kind of think it's because of you guys, because they were like, people get a hold to it and then there's stuff that they want to be surprised and this, that, and the other. So, they didn't want the report out until after basically everything has been decided and his final court date and this, that, and the third. But based on some of the things that the lawyers had said, we know that he was being charged as the driver, and we know they must have his toxicology report and everything, because they were saying that there was both drugs and alcohol in his system. And so, we know that has to be a part of the report, but, they didn't say much else, because when they first started it, it was like, they weren't going to tell the judge anything. And the judge was like, well, I need to know something. You don't have to tell me everything, but I need to know something. And that's when they informed the judge about the car accident. And, it was really, it was like, okay, we listened to all this. And then they were debating about whether or not him to be arrested. And like I've said in the past, I thought once a warrant was issued, you would automatically be arrested, but that was not the case. And so, as began to, his attorney began to talk about why he shouldn't be arrested, they were saying that he's working now, he works at a school, and that he's trying to get in school, trying to get his education. And, they were playing him up to be this martyr. And I'm listening to this as they say these things about him working with children, because that is something Zkira has always done. Even when she was younger, she's always worked with children younger than herself. Zkira worked with special needs children. She's always been very active in the church. And, that's another thing they said. They said that he was very active in the church. Now, that kind of shocked me, because I'm like, really? And I think the biggest thing they said that he had never left the state of Maryland. He's always lived in Maryland. And, when we got the opportunity, we was like, well, we know that's not the truth, because Zkira met him when he was here in Texas. She didn't meet him in Maryland. And it was, they played him out to be something that I don't believe he is or never will be. And, and a lot, they said they wanted to depend on his mother's history and her track record, because they're saying his mother, she's had a job for 18 years and she's into the church and blah, blah, blah. Okay. And the point being, that's your record. That's not his. And so, but I was kind of expecting that. I really was, because it seems like no matter what happens, that he's getting everything his way. And no one is still willing to tell the truth about what transpired.
If you could walk us through when you first arrived there to the court proceeding, who was he there with? Was he just there with his attorneys, or was his mum there, or any of his friends?
Well, in fact, no one was actually in the courtroom. Everybody was there via Zoom.
Oh, so it was a Zoom call you guys were all in.
Right. So you saw a picture with one of his, because he actually has two attorneys. So you saw one attorney on his screen, the other attorney on his, and then you saw Michael and his mother together. And honestly, when I saw Michael and his mother, Michael doesn't even resemble the pictures that we have from when this accident happened, or this supposed accident happened. He's put on a considerable amount of weight. Um, he was almost like he was staring blankly, and you know, I just feel like this. I have three sons, and I've always raised my sons that if you do wrong, I will never hold you up in your wrong. I will always love you through your wrong, but you have to take responsibility. And I honestly just wish that Michael's mother, that if she claims to be this Christian, that she would make him stand up on the principle. And if he did something, admit to what happened. But that's the thing. Nobody is willing to admit and take responsibility for anything. So we've been left in the dark for over a year as to what actually happened.
So when they're talking highly of him and everything like that, did the judge ever talk to you guys and ask for your side and what was discussed there?
He did. And because after we heard about all of these wonderful things of Michael, he asked, was there anyone there for like Zkira? And so we spoke up, because my sister and I were not together. She was in one location and I was in another, but we were both on the Zoom call. And we talked about the fact that that no one is saying what happened. The fact that they tried to blame and say that Zkira was the driver. We talked about her good points, what she was in life. My sister talked and she spoke on how when she met Michael, how she treated Michael like a child. and that through it all, like when it first happened and she actually spoke with Mike and he was in the background saying, I need to talk to her, I need to talk to her. She spoke of all of that, but when all was said and done, the judge was like, he doesn't see him as a flight risk, and that he's working and blah blah blah. So they were gonna rescind the arrest warrant, and basically just told him and his lawyers they need to make sure he's at all court hearings, whether it be via Zoom or things of that nature. And then after that, the judge was asking about his address, where was he living? And Michael, basically, he wouldn't say anything. He um, almost like he was crying, and then his mother was comforting him, and then his lawyer spoke up and gave the judge the address.
Did Michael say anything at all through the whole court hearing?
As as far as I remember, no. They asked him, I believe they asked him one thing, and I can't remember, and it was like just a straight answer, no long, in depth answer. But as far as anything else, no, he said nothing. And I think that's my biggest problem is that Michael still to this day hasn't said anything to the family of Zkira, to answer the questions, the hard questions, because there were so many questions. If this truly was just an accident, why didn't y'all get her out that car? To
Yeah.
give us an opportunity to see her, regardless of if she was hurt bad or what the situation was. Why leave her there? And the questions of, if it was only the three of you in the car, why was all four doors open?
Mm,
It's just so many questions. And I look at the police department and the different lies that was told from the police, and so my question is, why all the lies, and who are you protecting?
yeah.
Because if it was an accident, but one thing I've noticed, Martin, and is really crazy, I'm seeing more and more where friends, so-called friends, are losing their life with their other friends. I don't know if
Mm.
you know, there's another lady currently on TikTok where her son left with his friend, and
And he died. He was found in the lake, right?
yes.
Yeah, I
And
heard
so,
about that
you didn't
recently.
call the mother, and you said you claimed you called your parents, but it's like, why not just stand up and say, hey, okay, let me call any and everybody I can think of so we can find him, because we know he didn't leave, so he has to be somewhere. But you're not giving the family the opportunity, so it makes everyone think there's more to it if you're hiding behind lies.
When you can't be honest and can't explain things, and it's so sus, especially with this situation. Have you guys ever had the opportunity or thought of going back to that man? Remember the man that was Jolanda recorded of he was saying that a big guy came and said that his son died in the car. Do you remember that?
Yeah, we do remember that. We still have the recording. A lot of that was turned over to the police as well. But, their whole thing, even with the prosecutor, their whole thing is, well, she's dead. Well, there, with all the lies, if she truly is, why lie? Why not give
Yeah.
us those answers that we need? Because, yeah, we have that recording of the big guy saying that who we believe was Coach Fair, came and
Yeah,
said that
same.
his son was
Have you ever
killed.
thought of going back there and going, hey, like with a photo of Coach and saying, hey, do you think it was like this guy that was there?
The way I see it, we haven't thought about doing that. And the way I think is, see that even if it does, who's going to help us? Because the
Yeah.
way I look at it, the system is so corrupt, and it was like over little things. So I just don't understand why the need to try to protect somebody from an accident if it truly was an accident. Why all of the cover up? Why all of the lies? Because now I'm sure you know that the doctor that did the autopsy, she no longer works there.
I heard about that. Yeah.
And, it's like, okay. So to this date, even in the autopsy report, it says they never received her legs. But even when we went down there and we saw the pictures, and, you know, I was really studying these pictures because I'm like, I just, it was crazy. I'm like, well, wait a minute. You say she didn't have arms. There's her arms. You say she didn't have legs. There are legs, and they're laying on the seat. Oh, I see that too. Okay, where are they? And, it's just too many unanswered questions. And from the beginning, like I said in the past, I we were trusting the process. And now I see you really can't. You can't. If you don't have people out there such as yourself helping to push to find out what truly happened, I don't think we will ever know. And, I look at the other YouTubers that have come along, and they ran the story for a little while, and you got those that are just complete idiots out there that feel like that, oh, this is about money. What money? I don't understand the thought pattern of some people where they want to put their own narrative on something that they've never experienced. You
Yeah.
can't tell me, like, I can tell you how it feels to have your wisdom teeth out because I know what I felt like. But,
Mm.
for a person that never had theirs out, they can't come to you and say, your tooth doesn't hurt that bad, or, they don't know. So until
Yeah.
you've been in a situation, you can't say what a person's motives are, because our only motive is to know what truly happened. If that is truly Zakira, fine, tell us what happened. Give us that little. I'm not going to sit up here and say, "Oh, I know for a fact that she's." I don't know if, for a fact of anything. All I know is there's
Yeah.
been a lot of lies and a lot of questions, and
And the
if
questions
it,
haven't been answered.
exactly, and if they could give us those answers, that this could have been over with a long time ago. Yeah, we would have had to continue to still live day by day without her being here with us, but at least we would have known. And now I look at Mike's situation because I'm not sure how true it is, but someone sent my sister something saying Rhonda is suing him now. So now I really hope that Mike realizes that no one that he thought he could depend on is going to continue to stand with him. And everything he's going through alone. So why not give us the opportunity to have some form of semblance of truth by just telling us what truly happened?
Okay, so I got it here, right? It
Hmm.
says Wanda Michael Dukes, judgment information. It says dismiss, voluntary. 7th of the 18th, there was a complaint petition. Wanda complaint, case information report filed, plaintiff case info report, demand request for jury trial, summon issue, service event, new case, right? Summons pleading, electronic service, e-service to right of summons, dismiss, voluntary, plaintiff notice of voluntary dismissal. It doesn't really give much information. Just
Hmm.
she had an attorney, and yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder what happened between them.
So it's saying it's dismissed now.
Yeah, it says the judgment event type, dismiss voluntary.
So she voluntarily dismissed it. So it's just crazy to me that you even brought that up, because when this first happened, you and Mike were thick as thieves. Every time you tried to say something, Mike's on the recording saying, "You don't know, you were asleep, you were asleep."
When I seen the tree, because I'm seeing that he hasn't want. The thing is, he hasn't want me to talk to you. Give me the phone. You asleep.
I
So it
heard
was
that.
almost like he's protecting you. And then when you thought the stuff was about to hit the fan, you turned on him, but now you dismissed it. Come on, get
Yeah.
real. And that he does have another, what they call like a final hearing, that's supposed to be like October 27th, like a week before the actual case was to go to trial. And she said normally at that time, um, the person may, if they plead guilty, and then there won't be a court hearing. There won't be a trial. And but it makes me wonder, well, okay, so are we going to be allowed in for that? Because if we weren't allowed in for the other, will they are they going to allow us in for that portion? Because what if he does say, okay, I plead guilty? So if we don't know about it and we're not there, how can we speak as Zakira's family and loved ones to speak on what we're going through, the loss of the possible loss of our niece, or But like I said, it seems like everyone just wants to say, "Okay, she's dead. It was an accident. Get over it." But
Mm.
I'm sorry. Until I get complete answers to what happened, how it happened, no, I just can't see just letting that go like that.
You guys deserve to know the answers and have that closure.
I look at because Zakira and my son shares a birthday.
Oh wow.
And so that was, I mean, he thinks the world of her. And after this happened, my son, for a long time, he wouldn't talk. And so, can you imagine every birthday now not having her? Because even when, she was in high school and he was younger, she would still come over so they could sing happy birthday, cut the cake, get pictures together. And now every year he has to go through his birthday without her being here.
Mm.
So we need answers as to what truly happened. And I hope I truly hope that Mike is following these. And if he is, all we want is for you to tell what truly happened, Mike. That's all we want. We want to know what happened because, you know, it's like y'all want to blame you. Want in the beginning, you blamed Zakira. Do you know
Mm.
how hard that was for them for us to think that she caused her own death? So I'm like, what? So, when the police called us, I'm like, well, was she driving? Well, we can't answer that. Was she in the passenger seat? We can't answer that. So, we got no information from the police. So from the beginning, when y'all said she was driving, that's all we could go by. And so, to find out that she was in the back seat of this car the entire time, you know, no, it's too many unanswered questions. And I just wish that I don't ever expect Rhonda to ask anything. I think so little of her. So little. I've never cared for her. But I just hope Mike will truly stand up and give us some form of resemblance of the truth so we can move on and truly know what happened.